Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Shazdex, and welcome back to the A to Z Park series, Planet Coaster series, where we design a park letter by letter in each area, ride, shop, whatever is inspired by a letter of the alphabet. Now, I feel like I gotta get this out of the way before we start the video. I lied. Yes, you heard me right. I lied. Last episode, I said that today we would finish everything else. We'd finish the entire roller coaster. We'd finish this entire swinging mine train coaster, which I'm working on right now. But I do not do that today. And for that, I am truly, truly sorry. But that does not mean we are not doing anything today. In fact, we are doing a lot of stuff today. And when I say a lot, I mean a lot. But it's a lot of small things. A lot of things that just add up to make the park high quality. For example, as you can probably see for a couple frames in this time lapse, we currently don't have a roof on the show building. So I was planning to just throw a roof on there and call it done, and then finish the show scenes today. But it actually took a lot more than that because I needed to finish the show scenes for the ride. You need a roof, and for that roof to work, of course, you're gonna need to have ventilation. And then you're going to need outside access, so that inspired me to start working on a road system. So yeah, I do a lot in this video that's going to be building up to finishing the show scenes for the ride next episode. So it was mainly all of that stuff kind of adding up, and also me realizing that I wasn't fully happy with the exterior of the ride. So as you can see later, I had a couple more little details to the outside of the ride to kind of pull everything together. Which one of them is this lighting, which I'm implementing right now. Now, I'm by no means the best at lighting. I just kind of throw stuff around and see what works. But generally what works for me, or kind of something that I tend to kind of think of when I'm doing lighting, is I just choose two colors that I think go well together, and then just use those with like slight variations throughout it. But that's not very relevant anymore, because now I'm working on the interior again. I told you this is going to be really sporadic. This is going to be one sporadic episode, which I guess in a way kind of reflects my mentality while I was building these. I was working on this episode during a pretty busy week for me. I got a lot of stuff going on, and it was a lot of on and off playing, so I wasn't able to fully decide on what I wanted to do at once. But something that I did do is this is actually pretty cool. So I created these like custom show scenes, and then I took a screenshot of them, threw them into an editing software, and then I kind of like designed little posters almost for the fake corporation that's going to be running the ride vehicle that you're on. So it's called Tinkle Corporation because that's the name of that little baby guy. I realize a lot of people probably haven't seen the video where I designed him because that's my least viewed video on this channel. So I figure I might as well just explain him right now as you see me making these posters. So this little Tinkle baby, he's like a prospector, and he's a prospector baby, and that's literally it. That's his entire character. But I could probably say a little bit more. Using him, I'm gonna kind of design the ride around him. So yeah, you can see right here I was making another poster. I only actually got one poster working in game, because to get things set up vertically, you need to put them, you need to like orient them differently in your editing software for them to look vertical when you put them on the TV screen. So I only actually got one working correctly, which was the wherever, whenever sign that I just finished right then. So yeah, you can see right here, I try to import both of them, and then I got to flip it on its side to fit it in. And I just didn't care enough to do that to the other ones. So yeah, that's what the sign's looking like. I just kind of copied that everywhere. I also do a little bit more graphic design later in the episode, but I'm not sure if I got that on camera or not. And yeah, you can see right there, I was adding to the exterior of the ride, adding that little Tinkle Co. Because again, I wasn't fully happy with the exterior of the ride at this point. I'm looking at this time lapse and I'm realizing how much I've done since this point. And this is a relatively long time lapse. I'm only 4 minutes in, so we pack a lot into this episode. I'm doing a lot like this. I'm working on bathrooms. This is the first non-queue interior that I've done all series, which is pretty cool. And I actually had a lot of fun with the bathrooms, surprisingly. Especially when I tried to do when I tried to do a bunch of the stuff in the bathrooms custom. I actually had a pretty good time with that. It was mainly just because I struggled to find TMTK items for a lot of these. Like, I spent a couple hours looking for a sink TMTK item. I was like, you know what, I'll just make it myself. And that's what I'm doing right now. So yeah, for the bathrooms in this park, just generally rule of thumb, I'm going to keep a baby changing table, sit down toilets and urinals, well, at least for the men. One thing that I still don't have is a mirror piece. I couldn't find a good piece for a mirror. So if you have any ideas for what I could use for a mirror in the bathrooms around the park, let me know. This right here I was actually really happy with. This little paper towel dispenser. It just looks really satisfying to me. I don't know what about it makes it look so satisfying, but yeah, I don't know. It's just something about it. And I realized I did not show a bunch of stuff in this time lapse. Oh my gosh. Well, for some eagle-eyed viewers, you might be able to see that there's a building on top of that roof. I don't think I showed that in the recording, but I made it. Yeah, that's mainly the building on top of the bathrooms is mainly just to kind of conceal the backstage area. And I figured it might, like, hypothetically be an area where staff members can sit down and take a break. But it's a little too high off the ground and the proportions are really weird, so I doubt it. For now, that is mainly just going to be a facade. This rock work here, I'm actually pretty happy with about. That is not English. That's not how English works. I'm happy with the rock work that I finished in this area. I kind of half-assed it last episode because I didn't fully complete all the rock work. I just did anything that really was visible from the outside to like get it done. But now in this episode, I kind of commit a little more, and I finish all the rock work. So now you can walk through the land, at least not going on the ride or looking into the holes into the ride, like where it comes in and out on the ride vehicle. Now you'll be able to walk through and you won't be able to see any backstage, which I'm pretty happy with. And yeah, speaking of backstage, that's what I'm working on right now. Backstage in this episode was another one of the things that took up a bunch of time, because I just kind of underestimated how much backstage stuff I would have to do. I always tend to think like, oh, backstage, yeah, I'll handle that. I'll handle the backstage, don't worry. But it's actually a lot more work than you actually remember. Like, for example, there's the height difference between these buildings. That's like a lot of extra pieces just to like differentiate the height difference between track from like one floor to another. That's like an entire different floor. You can't really like tell that from above, but if you were a person, you'd have to like go up a couple sets of stairs to get between the brake run right there and the first show scene of the ride. So yeah, it's just a lot to think about. And in this episode, not only do I work on the backstage for this area right here, I also work on backstage for the main street. The main street. That was the word that I was looking for. I work on backstage for the main street this episode as well. Still don't do main street interiors. Feel like I should probably get to those at some point, but yeah, I still don't get to those this episode. But yeah, it's a little hard to talk about this because it is just a lot of placing a lot of just blank walls. But now we're back to the more interesting stuff. Right here, I'm making the building that you actually enter to get in line for the ride. This one was a little bit of an interesting build just because I made it, I don't know, the dimensions on it were a little weird, but I think I ended up making it work. There's a point where you can't really decide what wall pieces to use though. That's kind of why I was procrastinating that. Like, I built it piece by piece because I could never really decide what wall pieces I wanted to use. I know it sounds weird, but like I have this habit to choose like the easiest but also worst textured wall pieces for my builds, and I don't know, it just continues to happen. But I don't really think it impacts everything that much. And yeah, you can see right here I was adding this like little focal point with these gemstones to kind of add a little bit of world building to the ride, give a little bit of story of as to why this prospector is here at all. And then yeah, right here you can see me getting back to work on the station building, and then this is when I put the ride name in. I gotta give credit to @randflam on YouTube for inspiring this ride name. I don't know if I finish it in the oh wow, I'm really stalling right there. But yeah, I think I might have skipped over it. But he requested the name Canyon Runner. I thought that was a great name. So yeah, thanks Randflam for that name idea. And yeah, here I am, not working on the park anymore. Now I'm working on roads. Yes, roads, the bane of my existence. I've seen some pretty realistic looking roads online. Definitely not my foyer, because I've not driven that much in my life. Just started driving, so I haven't really gotten the chance to get out there as much. But yeah, I mean, it's looking great for me. Looking good enough for me, honestly. But yeah, you can see right here I'm about to make a endless tunnel to nowhere. Gotta love that in the Planco maps. Just put in an endless tunnel taking you nowhere. It's just great. Can you guys tell that I'm doing this late at night? I'm doing this pretty late at night, and I got a big thing tomorrow. Can't really say much about it because then it would kind of tell you guys where I live, which I probably don't want to do. Probably don't want to share my location online. But I got a big thing coming up tomorrow, so I probably should not be doing this right now. Probably should be taking a shower and getting some sleep, which I will do after I finish recording this voiceover. But this is important. We're talking about roads on YouTube is very important. Oh yeah, and if I didn't mention, you can see right there a little bit before, I did set this to a, I set it from a normal park to a, whatchamacallit? Editing me will put it up. It's the type of park where you can like edit the paint styles and you can edit the world borders. Always forget what it's called, but I turned my park into that, and now I am using that to my advantage, and I am adjusting the world size, deleting the guest spawn point, so I can get a lot more customization in my park. I've also gotten a lot of people saying that this park is giving Islands of Adventure vibes, so I figured I might as well address it in this video right here. Yes, it definitely is giving Islands of Adventure vibes. Also, don't mind the rides and like the flat rides and the coasters back there. Those are all just like me messing around off camera if I get bored. But yeah, back to the Islands of Adventure thing. Yes, this is definitely giving Islands of Adventure, which is something, I mean, I love Islands of Adventure. That's literally my favorite theme park I've ever been to. So of course it's probably going to show through in of course it's going to show through in my build style. But yeah, this is definitely Islands of Adventure type beat right here. This is definitely kind of like that. In future episodes, I will make sure to kind of start stepping away from Islands of Adventure, or maybe not, and I'll just make sure to step away from my Islands of Adventure tendencies in the next series that I do after this. Yeah, maybe this series I'll just go full on out, just like shameless inspiration, and then next series I'll be a little bit more creative, I guess, or at least let my inspiration shine through a little less. Now you can see right here I'm basically just copying the entire toilet setup that I had from the other area into the entrance area, and I made it a little bit bigger for both areas, just so that we can get more people using the bathroom in the entrance area, because of course that's probably going to be the busiest bathroom in the park. Then it'll kind of spread out later in the day. Yeah, and you can see back there I was taking advantage of those like tree planters that I placed last episode to kind of expand on the like staff comfortability area back there, make it a little bit more comfortable for staff to sit and relax. Yeah, you can see me copying planters around right there just to kind of make sure. Oh, and then that right there, I was literally just, sorry for that, seizure warning, I guess. I was just running through there for no reason. Don't know what's up with that. But yeah, right here we are back to the mountain. This is a part that, again, I think the best way to explain why I'm only getting to these parts of the mountain exterior now is because they're so closely tied to the mountain interior that it's kind of hard to like do them separately. Like last episode, I probably couldn't have done that, like that thing up top on the top of the mountain without like ruining the or without like having to do the entire back of the mountain. So I guess it makes a little bit more sense that I'm kind of splitting it up into 2 episodes, because that would have been a little weird to make if I didn't know what the back of the maintenance area or like the backstage area was going to look like beforehand. But yeah, that right there, I'm pretty happy with it. You can't really see it from the outside that much, but I don't know, it's just a fun little detail to have you coming out of that part right up there. Then also, I think it's probably a little too late. If anybody has noticed, they've probably already left a comment about it. Or if anybody who's cared has noticed, they've probably already left a comment about it. But I don't know anything about air ducts or ventilation. I'm trying to go really realistic in this park, so I should probably do a little bit more research on that, on how those air ducts and ventilation and even wiring, for that matter, is set up. You can see I put 2 electric boxes linked together essentially right here, and I don't think that's how it's supposed to work. But yeah, this is just for random detailing, to kind of help bring everything together, I guess. But I don't even know the purpose of these air ducts, like to get dust out, I'm pretty sure, or like ventilate the air. I mean, obviously they're probably to ventilate the air. I think that's probably a given. But exactly what they do, I'm not quite sure. So I should probably do a little research, or hey, if you know your air ducts, maybe leave a comment about that as well. Yeah, and I'm not quite sure if I said this earlier, but I wasn't necessarily the most satisfied with this building, this entrance building, until right about now in the time lapse when it started coming together a little bit more. And yeah, you can see when I pause right there, that was the sign that I designed for the ride, and a sign that I'm about to design, which is not in the video, because I'm about to design it like in my time that I'm recording this. I'm about to design it. I'm also about to design a wait time sign that will be the same for every ride, except it'll just have your ride on the top. So it's going to be like an animation playing through of all, it's going to like scrolling through all the wait times in the park. And then it'll have the one that you're at the top, and it's going to be like a uniform style for all of the rides. So I can just plop it on to a sign in front of the ride and have it show you the wait time. Now right here, I was debating what I wanted to do for the interior of this, because I didn't really know what to put. It was just like a waiting area. So I figured like maybe if we're thinking about the story, that might be like the reception, or like the place where you sign up to start working at the mine shaft. So I set up a little desk with like a little, I don't think you can even see it, but there's a little little stool right there that somebody could hypothetically sit at. I put like a little awning. That awning literally does not do anything, but it's gone right now, so it doesn't matter. And then this right here, I think this was the last like exterior, like major exterior part of the build that I add. And I think this is the last major exterior part of the build, which I will add, period. Except for maybe like a little bit of backstage stuff later. But I kind of wanted this area to be right here, kind of like an area where like like actors can come out on there and like say hello to people walking by, kind of like they do at Universal Studios Hollywood. I don't know if they do it at Universal Studios Florida, because when I went, I didn't spend a whole day in Universal Studios Florida. But I know in Universal Studios Hollywood, they have people like up in the buildings, like waving down and saying hi. And since I figured we don't really have the option for that in our Main Street area, I might as well try to implement something like that here. And yeah, I'm cutting in right here just at the end. We're about to finish up. Just to let you guys know that I will not be uploading for the rest of March. Or maybe I will if I have time, but I probably won't. My schedule's pretty packed. I got a convention, then I also have a coaster trip that I'm doing. So maybe I'll be able to upload some videos from the coaster trip. I'm going to all the Northern California parks. But yeah, besides that, that's all for this episode. Now let's check out the cinematics.